Hello. So I thought we will continue to talk a little bit about the God, the consciousness, and the concepts that have been generated or that have been thought about by various people. I think last time I was mentioning that there are four different types of concepts that can be thought about, and each one has its own followers, so to say. So there is a concept that matter is everything. There's nothing like consciousness. The matter generates the consciousness, and consciousness is part of the matter. This is, of course, the belief of atheists or those who don't believe in any supreme power or supreme consciousness, and everything is matter. Now, again, as I said before, uh, no one has created consciousness through a matter. The consciousness creates consciousness, but matter alone, without consciousness or life, cannot create life. That is a matter of fact. And ultimately, whether you agree or don't agree, people can say that, well, the experiments have not yet happened, this and that. But we do know that consciousness is separate from the matter, at least what we can see it as such. The second concept is that the God or the consciousness created the matter, and most of the religions believe that. And the concepts of origin of universe, where the God created on day one this, day two that, day seventh, etc., which is seen in Christianity. Similar concepts exist in Judaism and Muslim religion. The Buddhists don't believe in existence of supreme being or God. When Lord Buddha was asked repeatedly by a couple of people as to does he or does he not believe in God, he would not answer. And so Buddhists don't have the concept of God as such, or the higher authority, or the consciousness as such. One of the things that they try to explain is that if you take a light and circle it fast enough, you will see the circle of the light, but there is no circle. So they feel that something like that has happened, which created the consciousness or the life. But as such, there is nothing separate. But that does not mean they do not believe in it. They just don't want to address that issue. So that's one of the concepts which is theirs. But most of the religions believe that God or the consciousness created the matter. The problem occurs is how would consciousness create the matter? And this is what I discussed last time a little bit. So the third concept is that there is a consciousness or the God, and there is a matter. And both of these are primary entities. Primary means there is nothing preceding them. There is nothing which created consciousness. There is nothing which created matter to some extent. One of the thoughts in that particular thing is that the God and the or consciousness and the matter are one and the same. However, at the beginning of universe, they split into the two primary things. It's like one particular big company splitting to acquire something else, so that that particular company can do what the first one was not doing or was not allowed to do and had no desire to do it. Something like that, you could say. So one of the concepts in Hinduism is that the supreme being or the God or the consciousness is one and only, but at the beginning of the universe, it split into two primary matter, two primary things. I shouldn't say matter, the spirit and the matter. And spirit continues to be formless, qualityless, desireless, while the matter has no spirit, no energy, or ability to do anything on its own. This is the concept of Sankhya philosophy, which many of us believe. So the two things are separate, but they ultimately meet with the same thing. And then union of these two independent primary entities creates the universe. And at the end of the universe, these two primary entities merge into one another and becomes a singularity. One could say that that itself is a Big Bang, that the singularity splits into energy and matter, and that starts the universe. And for those of you who have not heard the concept of matter being independent, all the physical body is part of the matter. Even for the Hindus, the five pranas, the five energies, the five sheets, and everything else is a matter. In fact, these are this sthula, which means obvious or gross, but there is a subtle thing. Subtle thing is your mind, the intellect, the chitta, or even the ego. These are all parts of the matter, and they're not part of the energy. So what is the energy? The reason this particular concept started is because the matter itself, if it had the energy also within it, then we would be confused, or we will have an explanation problem as to how it is separate from the matter. So that's why the two primary fundamental elements are matter and the energy. And they are interchangeable, exchangeable, etc. in the physical way, but in our ways, yes, at a very highest level, they will be separate, and they will be one. So the union of the spirit and the matter makes the world go, and the matter is being witnessed, or the changes in the matter are being witnessed in the consciousness. So that is the concept. The last concept, which is in Advaita, which is followed by Ramakrishna Mission or by Vivekananda Society or many of the people in India, is that whole picture or the movie is happening actually in the consciousness itself. So it's like a dream that we are all acting in it. So everything is ultimately one. I have a little hard time absorbing it, understanding it, accepting it, and many of us will have it. To me, the concept that the spirit and the matter at sometimes were one and they split at the beginning of the universe is much more acceptable, palatable, easily explainable thing for me. So I would probably talk about that for just a minute and a half before the end of this video. So the spirit is independent. The spirit has no desires. The spirit has no form. Spirit has no qualities. And so spirit alone does not create or start anything. This problem was solved by the matter. When it comes together, the matter has all the form, matter has all the qualities, matter has the mind, the intellect, the ego. Ego means I-ness. When I say I am XYZ, I'm referring to I, that is the ego. So this particular matter, when it is enlightened or when it is incorporated, when it is combined with the energy of the spirit, the life starts. And that life particular start is encased into three different forms. So the first encasement is the causal, or what causes it to come in existence. The second covering is the covering of the subtle. This is not as subtle, but it is there. So the grossest is the gross body or sthula sharir. Then there is a sukshma sharir, which is the astral, which is a replica of the physical body. And then there is a causal or the thought process, which is inside that. Inside it is the spirit. So you could consider this as a battery of a computer, or the electrical source, or the electricity which is generated, and without which the physical elements, the body, mind, intellect, ego, chitta, could not function. So that's the simplest explanation that can come to existence. I know this is rather difficult in understanding, and I hope One of these days we can revisit this in a different way. Thank you for watching. If you like it, subscribe to it. Have a nice day.